Hey guys, it's Ellie here. I'm the author of the Big Sister Project and you've probably seen me on the YouTube channel before. And I'm an ex-au-pair. I was an au-pair in France when I was 18, back in 2013. As an ex-au-pair, I know all about the struggles and different problems we can face as an au-pair, trying to kind of find our feet with our host families. And even when you're halfway through your stay, you can still encounter problems that sometimes feel a little bit like they're impossible to overcome. And yes, we have friends, we have au-pair friends that we can talk to, and there's our au-pair agencies. But sometimes I think it's really important for us to look inwards and actually do a little bit of groundwork with ourselves before we kind of get to the point where it escalates or starts to spiral. But I want to talk about three of those things, three of those kind of umbrella terms that can cause issues as an au-pair. And while I'm exploring these, I also want to introduce a technique that can help you navigate any issues you may face. On some level, you may already be doing this without realizing, but when it becomes a more conscious thing that you actively do, the better the outcome will be. The technique is basically, it's a simple word that you will already have heard of most likely, and that is reframing. Now, the way to think about this concept is basically think of a photo frame, a picture frame. And when you're looking to put a photo in that photo frame, usually, if you're not happy with something in the image before you put it in the frame, you can crop it out or zoom in on the bits you do want and then print that photo to put in the frame so you can see it and appreciate it for what it is. This is kind of the same gist. So instead of looking at your problems and issues and whether they're your fault or the host family's fault or a mutual thing, or maybe there's something that actually doesn't exist and it might be something we're telling ourselves because of the way we're feeling on a deeper level, this kind of way of thinking and reframing and putting a new perspective on what you can see and what you want to see can really help shift that dynamic from I have a problem to fix to okay, what do I want from this? What is this teaching me? Where are my eyes looking right now? So one of the top problems we can face as an au-pair, or at least feel like we're facing, is communication issues, miscommunication, lack of communication, over communication. Now, I'll give you an example of something that I experienced as an au-pair that was a type of miscommunication, and this comes down to personal habits and routines that I was used to before I went to France with my real family. When we have something we want to share with someone else, we would write a note, like a post-it note, and we'd leave it on the kitchen bench so that whoever woke up to see that note would see it and it would be there and it would remind them of that thing that day. I never thought this would be something that could lead to my host family ever thinking that I was scared to talk to them. And over time, my host parents kind of picked, I didn't realize, but they were actually collecting them. And about a month into my stay, after, a few other things that had which I'll get to, kind of come to light, they sat me down and they said, "Are you scared to talk to us? Because we saw you're leaving these notes on the kitchen bench and you haven't brought these topics up with us. Are you scared to talk to us?" And I was like, no, what? Sometimes we can do things that are so innate and normal for us that we have grown up with as a means of communicating, as a means of expressing ourselves or sharing something with someone. But to someone that's never done that before, they're going to read into it how they want to, or how they have been programmed to, or how they feel is appropriate. And sometimes it can lead to complete miscommunication. I could have actually followed up with them later as I started to notice them disappearing off the bench and not hearing anything about it at all. I could have chosen to step forward and say, "Did you see my note? Do you have any questions, or what do you think?" I just didn't do that because it didn't occur to me to do that. I just kind of thought nothing of it. But now looking back more reflectively, if I'd have reframed the situation and thought, actually, I haven't heard anything, I don't know what they're thinking, and I'm seeing their behaviour start to shift towards me and I can see that there's something bothering them about the way I'm doing things. Reframing it, getting out of that victim mode and actually looking at things as a whole and thinking, okay, they're different people to me. They have different ways of doing things. Maybe what I'm doing isn't working for them and I need to be the one to go and ask so it doesn't actually wear me down slowly. Your host family will also have their habits and ways of doing things that will bother you and you will misunderstand and misinterpret. But this is a great example to show you that if you think about every single thing that you do and they do that may have the possibility of being misinterpreted, really look at that and think, okay, what is that telling them on a subconscious level, and how might this be misread? Miscommunications can happen when we choose not to ask questions if we don't understand something. I think we're all guilty of being in a space where something's been explained to us at least twice and we still don't get it, but we say, "Oh yeah, okay, I get it now," even though we don't. I think we've all been there. I'm always doing that because you just don't want to look like the idiot. You don't want to look like the person that just isn't listening. And especially in a foreign country, you don't want your host family to get impatient or the host kids to get impatient because you don't understand. You want to just think, okay, what could they possibly mean? I'll just take what they have said and I'll just keep trying to translate it. I'll go and look it up. You know, you want to always just feel like you have to know everything in the moment just to get through it sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And especially as you know, with host kids, it can be quite demanding when they need to know stuff on the spot and you don't want to sit there like, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to make your own assumptions and hope that you're on the right track. But this is another communication problem, or problem that could arise if you don't look at it early on and think to yourself, okay, what are the pros and cons of me not really getting to the bottom of this problem? What are the issues that could happen if I don't actually ask them to explain this in another way? Instead of looking at ourselves in the light of, oh man, I'm not clever enough, why did I do this? This is so out of my depth, or nobody understands here, this is not the place for me. Instead of having those stories feeding into your mind just because of a few things that can crop up along the way of communication, especially with younger children. Every day, pretty much for the first month, my host brother used to tell me I didn't understand anything. And the minute you start to really feed on that energy of I don't understand anything, instead of, you know, at the time, I wish at the time I was stronger in myself to say, actually, I'm just learning, instead of beating myself up over it thinking I'm in the wrong place. I don't know what I thought I knew. I should know kid level French, but I don't. You know, you start to believe those stories and they weigh you down more. And I think looking back at myself at that time now, when my host brother used to say that, yes, he was 6, and I completely, honestly, it doesn't touch the sides with me now. I totally get it, because at that age, having any strange person walk into your house and not get what you want when you're a 6-year-old is pretty damn annoying. You know, I get it. But looking back, I think to myself, for my own mental well-being, if I'd have looked at it differently, of actually, he thinks I don't understand anything because he's 6. He's only had one au pair before me and she was very good at understanding. I'm not as up to speed as I'd like to be, but that's a revelation that I'm coming to terms with, and I'm doing my best every day. And I'm going to go away and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to think he's actually teaching me and pushing me to be better, so I can actually have a better relationship with him, and then I can communicate and express myself properly with him. If I'd have looked at it that way instead of beating myself up, there would have been so many times where I wouldn't have got myself into a downward spiral of the world's against me, this kid's really mean to me, I don't get it, maybe I'm on the wrong pathway. Just having that, like I said, that conscious awareness of what you do, not everything, but just little things that you think, like the post-it notes, could have opportunity to be misunderstood. There's a whole new realm of possibility there for not having that misunderstanding. I hope that video was helpful, guys. Watch out for videos 2 and 3. In the next video, I'm going to be talking all about expectations and how you can navigate your time when those expectations don't quite go to plan. And again, giving you some really useful tips on how to reframe your experience so that any expectation misalignments or issues that arise during your au pair stay don't get the better of you and ruin your experience, because really everything is figure-outable. And I'm really passionate about helping people find their voice and find their purpose and their drive and their connection to whatever it is that they're doing. And in this instance, you're an au pair, or you're about to become an au pair. Even though that can feel like something that we've deliberately decided and we're really excited about, sometimes things will crop up along the way that will make us question that and make us question if we've made the right decision. So that's where I kind of step in to kind of redirect you a little bit when you start to lose your way or find difficulty where you didn't expect it. And help you come back to yourself and really connect with who you are.